Hi, I'm Melissa.
And I'm Jesse.
Welcome to the Reimagine Success Podcast. We're a husband and wife team who want to make a difference and change the way we all view success.
We've had the privilege of interviewing so many amazing, talented, and successful guests. Each one of them experienced success in their own way.
We want to change how society views success by inspiring you to live your best life and celebrate your successes no matter what that looks like, big and small.
Success looks so different for everyone, and we want you to reimagine your success. Welcome to Season 2 of
Reimagine Success. Welcome back to Season 2 of Reimagine Success.
Hey, everybody. Hope you have just had the most successful week that you've ever had in your entire life just now.
Just now, like right now, like today. I hope you've had the best day ever.
I mean, I just hope that today you made more money than you've ever made before, or you did something that you've always dreamt about doing and never had the courage to do, or that you've just stepped out of your comfort zone in a small way. But either way, whatever your success might be, I hope that it was unbelievably successful. And while you're thinking about what it was, go ahead and share it with us. Just jump over to Facebook or Instagram or email us at reimaginesuccesspod@gmail.com and share with us what that success is. Because one thing that we love about doing this podcast is sharing success and finding out what happens in people's lives and what their successes are.
Yeah, definitely. And make sure that you also head over to Patreon. It's patreon.com/creativeglobal. We're constantly posting videos 2 days before it actually comes out, video recordings, so you can see our beautiful faces.
Yeah, if you're listening to this like just some person with headphones on and you're not watching it and you're missing out on this goofy face that I'm making right now, you have no idea what I just did if you're just listening to this. So go over to patreon.com/creativeglobal, and for just $5 a month, 5 tiny little dollars, you can get video episodes, like Melissa said, 2 days earlier than they come out to the general public. You can't beat that.
Yeah.
Plus all the bonus content we put out. There's songs from my new record that are out on Patreon that aren't out in the world. There's stuff for Deadly Crimson that's out on Patreon that's not out in the world, plus videos from our journey and just behind the scenes stuff with Creative Global that you would enjoy.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, we have some really amazing highlights from this past week for sure.
Oh, yeah. This week has been just nuts. So make sure you head over there, sign up to be a patron. We appreciate the support. Seriously, we do this every single week because we love it. But, any support that you can give is amazing, because that helps us to continue to bring on quality guests, keep this going, and keep giving you the information that we're bringing, which I've been learning unbelievable amounts. And I hope that you have been too. We've just had some fantastic guests lately, and today is no different.
Yep, exactly.
So today on the podcast, we've got Tahera Yeasmin, who is she's a civil engineer and environmentalist who has overcome many obstacles, including physical challenges, to rise from her humble beginnings in Bangladesh to her current position in Canada. Tahera's workplaces have ranged from the United Nations to municipal governments, always ensuring that environmental best practices are at the forefront of development. Tahera's strong sense of ethics and unwavering pursuit of excellence have made her a leader in her profession, and she now shares her knowledge and experience with others, even as she continues to build herself. A strong, independent woman who doesn't need to fit into the restrictive templates that society provides, Tahera doesn't rely on other people for her happiness and enjoys the freedom of mind to choose where her life will take her. Tahera, welcome to the Reimagine Success Podcast.
Welcome.
Wow. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for having me.
It is so good to have you.
It's so good to have you and see you all the way up in Canada.
Yeah.
Yes, she's about as far across this continent as you could get from us.
Yes.
Other side of the world.
Yes, the other side of the world.
Pretty much. So how's it going up in Canada? How's your day been going?
Yeah, it's doing fantastic. It's very good. I'm enjoying Canada, especially in summertime, but winter time is hard for me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, it's I enjoy food. I enjoy freshness. I enjoy the fresh air, which is very, very lack in our country nowadays. too much emission, too much things. So yeah, that's why it's, and I think I would say that the beginning of your all question, David Suzuki actually brought me in here.
Yeah.
In my university, I heard that name, that David Suzuki is a Canadian and who is doing so much fantastic job for environment. So I have to go and meet him.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's great. Now, you've been doing so much impressive things for the government, for the environment, and we're going to dive all in. But first, we just want to know a little bit about you, where you came from, and what your life has been like up until now.
Yeah, that's I'm come from Bangladesh, which is the Southeast Asia. Very hot, almost like a 10-month is hot and 12-month is just a mildly winter. And our lowest temperature, some area, very remote area, could be not less than 10 degrees centigrade, you know. So
wow, yeah.
That's our winter. In Canada, -65.
Yes, I hear it's chilly. No, I've been to some parts of Canada, but not during the full winter. I went in fall time and it was already getting cold. I think I put on my suitcase over myself. Yeah, with every clothing I had in my suitcase. It was so cold.
Yeah, that's all. So I come from a very, I would say, middle class Muslim family from Bangladesh. We have 7 siblings, including me. My dad was just I don't know how the compared to North America things, but he was just it's just I would say third grade clerical job he has, and which was the telephone computer operator. When that time people have to get a line to ask the telephone office and have the connection of their phone.
Okay.
So yeah, the phone operator. Sorry, I did the miss it. Phone operator, and 7 kids he has.
Ooh, 7
to raise, and like from grade 1 to university level, kind of we grown up in the same family, one mother. However, it's we grown up with a very joint family. Always have some uncle, auntie, cousin, and grandma, grandpa, all those kind of surrounding. It's just a beautiful family bonding, beautiful. We never seek other people outside or beyond our family. Have a friend, we need a friend. Did not have that kind of, but nowadays children are our next generation. They are looking for friend out of their family, but we always contain in the family. So when I grown up is a kind of 80s, 70s, late 70s. That time was, I think there was a bonding about us, feeling with us. One of my sister have any trouble, we just cry and we just hug them and kind of what like we can do to get his pain relief a little bit. My mom has so much trouble. Her hand is full. One hand she is cooking, another hand she is teaching a lesson next day, homework. Another day, my dad needs something, and another time, my grandpa in a hospital, some kind of situation. We just jump. Yeah. What can we do? And what can I feel like, no, this is not my study time. This is my help to my mom to so that she can get a little relief. So
can I pause you there and ask you a question about that?
Yes.
So did you see that as just a normal part of life, as in like you have these siblings, it's your job to just jump in and take care of them? Or was that something you were like almost resentful or didn't really want to have to take care of your siblings? Or how did you view that? Because that's very different than a lot of American family units where the parents raise the kids and the kids just kind of do their own things.
Exactly. No, that's why it's kind of when I'm talking about that, my past family life and here is to me just day and night different.
Mhm.
So not that time when we grown up, still in our culture is changing very fast. Is they always follow the Western culture because our belief is every ideology and good teaching, good education, good environment, everything on West.
Mm.
That's our belief. So nowadays is through the media and internet, they can see and compare, and some people understand, no, not maybe not differently. So come to your question is that no, we never feel like this is our obligation or duty or resentment, never. It's just come from the bottom of heart, is when we see that my mom is doing so hard things and we could not play or enjoy our childhood time, or we just ignore her and going somewhere with friend or enjoy our what is called enjoyment, we just share with my mom. And even though I can tell you so many examples. My mom is cooking and I'm chopping the vegetables,
Mhm.
and we laugh each other, we teasing each other, or I might cut my finger and she was teasing me rather than helping me to hold on my blood to stop. And she is teasing that what are you doing? If you cut your finger, it's not a help at all. I said, oh, okay. So never find that way. But now I am learning that no, the kids not or the sibling not supposed to help each other.
Mm.
But we grown up that way, we should supposed to help each other. And I can tell you, always kind of in our family, or most of the Bengali family, Bangladesh family, they don't have lot of option in their dining table. That's the very common. So what they do, say for example, we have a 7 siblings, 7 piece of fish. So if anybody eat 2 pieces, then other body cannot get that. That's the thing. So my mom has to ensure that every kids get the equal amount of protein or whatever, like expensive or nutritious food or healthy food. But if any kids or any my brother or sister took more, then most of the time I found that when I come home from my school or university and I found that my fish are done and someone ate
Oh
it.
no.
Oh no.
So she feels so bad. My mom feels so bad, and she tried to give me other substitute something. And I said, no, mom, don't worry, it's fine. So we never feel like, okay, why I could not get my portion, why I could not get my.
That's such a great attitude to have, though, because so many people nowadays, they'd be like, I'm not helping. I didn't have all these kids. It's not my responsibility to raise them. I'm just a kid myself, or man, I can't believe somebody ate all my food. I'm going to go beat somebody up, or, you better give me something else.
Yeah.
Like people now are so entitled and just feel like they're owed everything. And I love your attitude towards all of it, where you're like, no, it was your privilege to help, and you made it fun. And if somebody ate your food, well, then that's what happened, and you figured it out. Like you had such a great outlook on all of that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really funny because I do a lot of the cooking in the house, and I love it when the kids are in the kitchen and Jesse's in the kitchen and we're all just in there doing stuff. And, I would love the kids to get more involved, and, we're trying to get them to set the table and, wash the dishes and just get more involved. But I feel like, this day and age, kids, they don't want to do that stuff because that's work and that's too much work. And, like Jesse said earlier, like a lot of kids are entitled and they just don't care about being with their parents or helping their parents. They just want their parents to do everything for them nowadays.
Yeah, it's a very different society, to say the least.
Because I know I grew up also in the 80s, and I was in the kitchen every single day with my grandmother, cooking and helping her cook and cutting my finger like you. And, and it was always, we always had fun. I learned how to cook, and we chatted and talked about school or the day or anything that we needed. And we actually got closer and bonded through those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you grew up in this big family of 7 kids, and you were going to university. And then how in the world did you end up in Canada of all places?
Honestly, when I was growing up and the kids, never have any dream, even though I think I heard about Canada in my 12th grade.
Mhm.
In our system, 11 and 12th grade is a college. And then we go to university, choose our either engineering or medical science or any normal science or arts kind of. So I have no idea about Canada, and I have no desire on that. A lot of kids are grown up from child, they are going to go outside and have their master's or PhD, such and such university. I did not have any desire. Maybe there was a lot of reason, was not. The country situation, also the environment, the time we are passing through that time was not very luxurious or high education situation that time. That time was just need to every family survive, a lot of pandemic, a lot of polio, a lot of cholera, this kind of the pandemic was continuous, and top of that was a hunger. There was a big food crisis was in 1974, I believe. The lot of farmers and a lot of poor family did not have even their food on their plate. And the top in my childhood was my dad, since my dad was working for the telephone department, and during that time, 71 has a big war against Pakistan. If I go back to our history, and I'm not very good in history, I have to apologize and just take those things. Whatever, like I learned history to listen my dad, my grandpa, or my mom, those things. They went through the situation in their perspective. They just discuss in a house, and I hear and learn. That's kind of my history knowledge. So when the British left Indian subcontinent, they divided to like a whole Indian subcontinent in two countries. One is India, another is Pakistan, based on their religious aspect. So in India, most of the like 80% people are Hindu, and Pakistan and Bangladesh also, it's kind of the part of like a geographical location is West Bengal side, west side of India, Kolkata kind of. So there was a majority of Muslim. So this is the Muslim and India Muslim. So British thought these two religious people can go together. However, their geographical location is way far, like the upstream and downstream kind of thing. So they left that way, but geographically is not so easy to control governmental side point of view from Pakistan to Bangladesh. That's why Bangladeshi people from 1947 to the independent in 1971. So during this time period, Bangladeshi people was totally ignored and no taken care of, no development, no education, nothing. Top of that, Pakistan government passed a bill that Bangladeshi people has to, their mother language and official language has to be Urdu. And Bengali people, the Bangladeshi or Bengali culture, I would say, they are very simple-minded. They just go to the farm. That time, they're not very much job-related and office-related. Women are never go outside of the house. They always raising kids and cooking for people and entertaining, those type of things they do. And men go to the field to grow up their own food, crops, and bring home. And women, those sorted out, prepared as in go to the pots for cooking or the stove for cooking. So that's kind of family. Most of the family was like that. So when that happened, then Bangladeshi people find very difficulties because they did not go to the school for learn the Urdu. They just learned their language from their mom, from their grandma, from their auntie, from their all female, they are never even don't know how to sign their name. Those kind
So
of
they weren't allowed to go to school, or
not allowed, but there was no culture or kind of mindset that woman needs to go to school.
right?
or
Okay,
something.
okay.
They are so content that the man can go, even though that time was not very much kind of monetary exchange. If I have too much crops, I can give away in exchange of some chicken or some meat or some fish. So they never feel even the money to go, and then woman can go to left their children behind. And we still not have good system to raise up the kids to get a support, either kindergarten or the daycare system, not like that. So their system totally different. So when that happened, then they stood up, protest that no, we cannot have Urdu language, our mother language. We will have our Bangla. So what did the Pakistani people in the university, 7 young guys, and I have to point it out that time. So I'm talking about 1951, 52.
Okay.
So that time, any children going to the university, that means they complete their high school, their primary school, their high school until grade 10, and then go to the college, grade 12 and 11 and 12, and then they go to the university. So it's a big way that kind of poor family, or they send their boys or kids to the university with a big hope. And not only that, their dad has to so much hard work, even though all day long they are working in a crop field, without any, even the water, they don't have even water, no food, nothing, and then come home, have a little bit eat, then have no rest. But they save some money to send their children to university or higher education during that time. So the education percentage, high education percentage was very low. So what they did when they protect their mother language, Pakistani people kill at the same row and in front of everybody in the street, 7 young guys from university. That's triggered the Bengali people to stood up. No, that's not gonna happen. They did not know how to fire the gun. They did not know how to use the sword or any kind of knife or any kind of like a
weapon.
Weapon to protect themselves, because they never feel that could be any time required. And that's why they're seeking out the help. That time, a lot of international agency, UN, World Bank, those people help them to little bit train. Pakistan give a lot of weapon to use them, train them, give them shelter. So then they have a big fight, and they start. That's why now we whole world are celebrating the 21st of February as an International Mother Language Day. It's come from our country.
Okay.
So I'm very proud of that. That we have a very like a heart-touching song. And in the morning, 21st February, I woke up and I sang myself to just remember these days. Kind of, yeah.
That's so cool, because like I guess because we are in a nation that, I mean, we've had wars, obviously, in America. I mean, not for a while, at least not on our turf. But it just, that whole concept of everything you just described just sounds so not realistic to our lifestyle that we experience here growing up. You know, we grew up here in America, and even with the worst situations, you know, you're still going to school, you're still, you know, like it's just basic stuff that we take for granted every single day as American people. And we forget that people not terribly far away from us are living radically different lifestyles with unbelievably different circumstances, just struggling day to day. And like you were saying, dads are working all day in the fields and hardly getting by, yet they're still scraping together money to send their kids to university and try to make a way for them. It's just, it's wild to think about that, and it's humbling to remember that we don't have it the way the rest of the world does.
Yeah. No, it's very touchy, and I get very emotional when I think about that the each Bengali family to grown up and send them their kids that far is their every drop of blood and every drop of their sweat is involved in to come up any kids in this far. It's not so easy. It's not so easy. And I guess that's why probably we get so much family bonding and to get not if I say that I don't it's me, I don't believe the word, but I feel like in touch. I don't say it cannot be said just one word that I am grateful to my family. It's not like that. It's beyond that. So, and I was going to say that why I'm coming to Canada is my dad was, after that, those involved, when those war happened, my dad was probably young guy. He knew, and in that during that time, every man or kids are growing up kind of revolution, kind of what that word called is inside kind of fighting, and we have to stood up, we have to do something, otherwise we could not do things. We need to independent our country. We need to free our country for those, because 200 years the British was just ruling us. And that is probably beyond my knowledge. I don't know much things. I never even read this way. But so far, when I learned from our uncle and our family or our grandparents, it's really, it was just give me the goosebump, that kind of time they passed through. So my dad was working for the telephone department during 1971, and just started war, Bangladesh against Pakistan. That's war started. So my dad was, I'm not sure now when, but he was in a night, they have the shifting duty. He was in a night duty that day with other 3 or 4 of his co-worker, and the Pakistani people just attacked the telephone department and took them away.
Oh my gosh.
And we thought, my mom thought that he has a night shift, he gonna come back with in the morning. He did not come back.
Oh my goodness.
And next day he did not come back, and whole country was in fight. Everywhere is bomb, somewhere is always they listen like I could not remember that time, I was very little, but the hearing was firing, and sometimes they heard that people is screaming. That means their hearts are killed or something. So it's cannot like imagine what kind of situation. My mom waiting, he did not back. Then my uncle, my dad has we saw 4 brother, but he's supposed to have more brother, and they did not survive in the little kids when they died, that kind of their time. But he did not have any sister, 4 brother only. So my older uncle, if we call my dad Abba, then we call older uncle is Boro Abba, means big dad. Kind of.
Okay.
So he just took his bicycle. He's a farmer. He grown his own food for his family. The family member probably 25 or more, kind of. So
many people in your family.
Yeah.
So many people. My dad's side, 4 brothers are together. Their kids, and my grandpa. My grandpa was still alive that time, and he was he kind of probably in his 70s is. And any army vehicle passed through in our house, in front of our house, my grandpa go and stood up in front of the car, and he claimed to, and he showed his cane and said, "I'm gonna kill you unless you release my son."
Wow, and, your grandpa sounds like a cool guy.
And unfortunately, he passed away before we find my dad things. So there is this is another topic. If I started from my memory, even though I'm forgetting everything day to day in my own busy life that time. So my dad was 6 months vanished. We did not know his whereabouts situation.
For 6 months?
6 months.
Good
Our
grief.
fight, the war exists 9 months, and he was disappeared 6 months. But
so at that point, did your family give up hope? Were they like, well, certainly he's dead by now? Or were they still hanging on to hope, like waiting, hoping that he was going to come back?
my mom said that she never give up the hope. I don't know what she is. And if I speak about my mom, then another day I need it. She is so like a quiet and inside, but the belief she has very strong, whatever she believes. But she don't go any argument, or she don't try to impose her understanding to anybody. She just said, but she never talked during that time. She just little bit sobbing and pray, and you can hear like she kind of sobbing and humming, and she's calling or praying to God, like we say Allah, praying to Allah. And when we talk now, she said, I never give up on him. That he said. So my uncle is just took a bicycle and my grandma's house was like a 12 or 13 kilometer away from the main city, the city we living in that time. And he took the bicycle in the morning, go around whole city, and whatever in his capability and able to know and knock the people, or he has no idea where he gonna go and look for. But whatever he needs, he go and ask, come back and go to the field and work. And he has a lot of labor work in the field. He took this one, he again go back. Sometimes he went whole night, he disappeared looking for his brother, and nobody knows. However, one of my mom uncle, my mom auntie's husband was a doctor, and he was a doctor in the custody where people capture and he that. So he knew us very well, since we are very joint family and very relation with each other, close. Yeah. So he knew, and then he gave him special, they kind of with the bullet they hit in his chest and back. So he has a very chest pain during that time. So he separately treated him, and he knew, but he captured with himself. He did not tell us anybody, because he knew that if he told anybody, then if in case it's leaked out, so tight environment we are living that, then Pakistani people gonna kill this man. So ultimately he saved my dad during 6 months, and then he get relief when we have the victory, when we are the country independent that time. So that is my childhood started.
That is one crazy start to a childhood, I tell you what.
Wow.
So I don't know what call with the higher education and go to Canada and abroad, no idea.
So what was that transition like when you got to Canada and you were in North America and it's completely different? Was it culture shock? Did you feel like you fit in right away? Was there a lot of, did you have to do a lot of preparation to move?
Not really, but when I finished my university, then went to the job. But however, although I'm telling that certain things, but in between, I think that everywhere people have some very good, strong thing, and then that we need just a balance. That's being an woman, and I during that time when 71, 72, I started work. I think I started working 71 or before. I was very nice, healthy children, very jolly children. My mom always said that all other my sibling give her very hard time for either feeding or sleeping or something, but I was very easygoing. That I don't know, she just biased me or something, I don't know.
I'm sure
So-
you are easygoing. You are very easygoing.
Mhm.
So that time when I started just walking, she realized that I could not walk properly.
Mm.
So I was kind of fallen like a right side, I'm kind of limping and things. So she and my dad is started looking for things. Nobody knows why is happening and what happening. But during all those war happening, one of the doctor name was I forgot, Samsul Islam. I have to pronounce his name because he was my first orthopedic doctor. He find the problem that was my hip was not properly developed. It's called congenital birth defect was.
Okay.
So, and he find like he wants to rest on the femur head with my pelvis, but it did not. It's just not very properly set. So he kept doing the plastering so that the rest of the bone with the hip, and kids, no, it just jumping from the sofa, from the bed, and it's
Mhm.
every time I broke my plaster. And that
Oh,
was
no.
another chaos during the war going on. And then a mom taking me to the hospital to see doctor. And then doctor was killed by the Pakistani army that
Aw.
time. And we just helpless, did not have that. However, that way I'm running. And so in that's not the things. The way I grown up with this family and the society, my mom never stood up or high her head because our society teach her that she has a crippled girl. So that from the beginning, it's hurt me so bad. My dad also could not feel proud of me, even though when I became an engineer. Last day, I remember when he was crying middle of the night, crying and sobbing to my mom, and I was in the next room, saying that what she did, why everybody like expecting as a society, as a family, as everybody that I should taking the medical science so that I can take care of my own health and figure out what happened and what the reason and things like that, and I can serve similar kind of people and disease or distressed people. But some reason, I don't know, it's kind of, still I'm kind of surprised with myself that I tried to go to the medical school, but I could not get admission. When admission test happened, I could not make through that one. But when as the engineering college test happened, I went through very well, and within the 20 people merit list, I was one of them. So go figure.
Well, that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah. I mean, not everybody
Yeah.
is meant to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
no.
Engineers, there's so many people that say they want to be engineers, but they don't have the mental capacity to be an engineer. So, I mean, you should be completely proud of everything that you've been through and everything that
I
you've
think
done.
my family should be prouder.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, just recently, and this is no joke, just recently, Melissa and I were sitting out on the back porch talking to each other, and we're both like, man, I wish we had engineering brains where we could just
put stuff together.
Yeah, like
from nothing.
Work things out. Like
an engineer literally takes nothing and solves an equation and creates something amazing. It's impressive.
It's mind-boggling.
It's impressive.
Yeah. So anyway, so he was sobbing and saying that if he she could take the medical science, and when I will be gone, I will be happy. She will taking care of herself. She will not be any burden. Our society is all those things is coming from our society, teach people this people. During that time, female engineer is very few. Female engineering job was not very secure as a female. So that's why he was very worried about me. And if we are as a doctor, I could have a just office job, seeing the patients. I don't have to go to the field. I don't have to deal with the other contractor or any kind of crime or any kind of things that is in his head. That's why he was.
So he just wanted the best
he was
for
just
you.
worried about you and
He
being
was
probably overprotective, like a lot of parents are.
But he is not only worried about me, he is worried about we are five girls and 2 sons. So 5 girls. Growing up the girls in our society, it's lot of challenges, lot of challenges. It's just the mindset, that's the tone. Nothing like I cannot even pinpoint that why is that and how is that is not. So one of when I go to my first job, and I was working for the local government department, engineering at that time. But I don't know, in my mind was, this is probably not for me. I have to figure out what I do. And our education, by the way, I have to tell that one, otherwise it's very difficult to. Our education system and our job system is just like a oil and water. If you put in a bowl, and they're never gonna match.
Right.
When we are in university, even though we are 20 years old, we say 12 plus 4, 16 grade, we have to complete to go to our professional engineering job, and plus another 1 year of internship or all those things. Totally, we are out of the world, that what is happening out there, what would be the work looks like environment, we have no idea. And if you are a female or girl, you are the out of question. You are just growing up in a how can I say, greenhouse. And then when you get a job, your all barrier go out and you are on the ocean. No idea how you can deal, who people are you are dealing, no idea. That was the biggest challenge for us, especially female engineer. Wow. And if you have a difficult physical difficulties, then in my case, I was not very sad for my physical difficulties. I was mostly mentally sad because people are treating me the way. The people are judging me the way. The people are sending me the negative word, that most of the night I just cried. I could not sleep. So hurtful those are. And probably that's why it's coming like, okay, I have to, and I grown up with in my grandma, because my mom has so little children. And my dad was, a lot of our family has a big struggle point that time. My grandma took me to just send me to school and grown up everything, so that my mom can get a little bit relief. And I, during that time, require little more attention than any other kids. So she took me in the field when the other girls are playing, and we have a lot of if I can name those, is a called golla chutis. We just run and touch each other and holding our breath and touch each other, kind of things.
Kind of like tag.
Yeah, tag or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I could not do that because I could not run. I could not walk that fast. So so grandma took me to show them their playing, and continuously telling me that, honey, not all the life for everybody. You look at that, a lot of people are more painful, more sad than you. You have your mom, you have your dad, you have me, you have everything. You can do your own job, day-to-day job. You can go to school. You are very, and honestly, I could not come until here because my English, my language, my history, my arts side just dumb, nothing, only dumb. Only I stood up by my math. In 100, I got a 99, 98, 90. I think my lowest number was 96. That was my lowest number. And that 4 number, the teacher was docked me because my handwriting was so bad.
Oh my goodness.
Well, math is the universal language.
Yeah.
So there was a
universal language.
geometry. There was a geometry, and you had to write down all those explanations.
Mhm.
And I wrote, and then he said that my handwriting is so bad he could not read. So okay. So the grandma, all those the kind of down to earth or touching the people or the whatever you call, I'm not sure, the humanity. You are a woman, you have to stood up, you could not be burden to anybody, because our society, female with the disability is burden. When dad was alive, is dad, otherwise the brother. That's good, and it's a miserable life. So it could not be. You have to do something. You have to stood up your own leg. And I always tease, and since then I tease that I don't have 2 legs. I have a 1.5 leg, but I can run.
There you go.
There, I love it.
I love that you can't hold me down attitude.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of people that have challenges in their life, whether they come from something emotional or trauma that happened to them, or physical, or, anything that happens to you in life, you can take that as something to embrace and say, I'm going to go full steam ahead. You look at people that are blind, or they can't speak, and their other senses are just so heightened that they are able to do everything that we're able to do, probably way better than we can do it. And you just take that as an advantage instead of a disadvantage.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That actually the main thing to bring me that far, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I never said for my physical condition, I'm grateful. And if I would not have that kind of trouble when I was growing up, I could not build my mental situation or this way. I think I would think like, oh, I'm fine. Why I have to go to school? I'm fine. Why I have to go to have the Canada to have a better life?
Yeah.
No, I would not look for. So why I'm coming to Canada? So it's a long story. I'm just kind of I'm getting so emotional today after a long time talking and look back to my past.
I know it's a lot of memories when you think about your past and you're reliving it, and it's a lot of things that came up. So we are so thankful that you're sharing your story with us.
And what a beautiful story so far. I'm like literally on the edge of my seat waiting to hear how you got to where you are today, because so much adversity, like, oh my goodness, and you overcame it all. And it really is inspiring. So please do continue.
Thank you. So when I was working with the local government, was not very easy job for me, and especially women. And I don't know which person. And when I talk about the dealing with contractor, it means dealing with crime or that call. Mm-hmm. It's kind of borderhead, but I don't know, I should say that way. Then very immediately, I just changed my job. I always have kind of computer programming and computer modeling things of kind of passionate from my university, but we did not get enough opportunity. Not much computer, not much. That time was no internet even there. So when the computer lab, just first day when I went to the university, my older sister, she took me then and showing me, it looks like a TV box, and it was dark, was shut down the computer. And she said, this is called the computer. And okay. And I was so like, okay. And I'm going to the university taking the engineering course, and I have no idea.
Oh my goodness.
So gradually, slowly, then I got in kind of one of my senior friend, he just started AutoCAD teaching. So I'm going to with them, and I have a very good, I have to be proud of that. I have a very good university friend circle. And mostly when the boys, they get more advantage than girls. So, and they are very nice to me, and I have always good relationship with them, and I actually enjoy with their company. And
That's good.
my things is when we have a very open discussion and open teasing, and couple of friends still we are connecting, and Dan most of the time ask, oh, he's a Kara? Yes, yeah, we just started name the Kara, means is a desert or like a drought.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have a guitar, and we just sitting inside of the car and on the road and singing, and just no rhythm, no music, nothing, just yelling. That's so
engineers being creative.
yeah, no, we just enjoy it. And I'm very grateful that time. University life, a lot of women, they could not even come out from after evening, come out from home, but I had that kind of freedom. And I was staying with my grandma trust me, and we are very free. Normally our society not so free to talk, but whatever happened, and I told grandma, and just sometimes I cried, and then she tried to give me some lesson kind of thing. So it's a sweet memory, actually. It's that I miss my grandma very much, though.
Mhm.
Yes. So,
That's so sweet.
and yeah, and then taking AutoCAD, just I started few months maybe. Just started over the whole interface and those what is what, how to do that, and Ctrl J is the undo and do a kind of things. I'm like, and then Korean farm, they took the job from US,
Mhm.
and they knew that the Bangladeshi has a cheap labor. So they send all the drawing file, just ask us to just edit them. They have the markup, and we have to just transfer in an AutoCAD file.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I thought it's the best job, and I got that job right away, even though I was
Nice.
learning. And fortunately, and I'm very lucky that one of my friend, he was my supervisor during that time. And his name is Maruf Khandokar, and Maruf Khandokar and Kamrun Nahar is my sweetest, best one of my friend. And when I came Canada, because of them, they helped me so much.
So they kind of recruited you to come over and work with them.
No, actually we knew each other. Like our small community, we are very close. Like even though 2-3 years senior, when I was just in the first year started, fourth year senior friend, we are very close kind of.
Yeah.
He was my 1 year senior, but he was mechanical, and his wife, my friend, she was civil, but they are the batchmate. So when I was recruited by the Korean farm, and he was during that time was working there, I did not know.
Oh, okay. So it's just a great coincidence.
Yeah, exactly. Great coincidence.
That's awesome.
And then we are just fun. It's so much fun to do that job. Okay, whatever you have, give us, and we work during the day, and then in between the lunch hour or somewhere, we just doing some our friendly things, like kind of.
Nice. Yeah,
However,
I used to work construction with one of my old friends, or a couple of my friends, and we would work hard during the day, but we were always goofing off and just having a good time. Like it's always so much more fun to work with your friends. That's why Melissa and I work together, because we have more fun when we work together.
You know what, that during that time, I learned more than any other. When your supervisor or your coworker, like a friend, you learn more. It's and your productivity is so much. But I think nowadays, I don't know, nowadays, or people kind of formalize and kind of put in everything has to be policy, it has to be in the box. And that's why when we work as a worker, we don't enjoy our work. We don't feel like we are contributing anything. This kind of situation is not happen one day. We need to think about, and we need to change. But I honestly, it's kind of, I would be very negative, but I kind of hopeless. I don't see any symptom that could be changed in a positive way. It's unfortunate though.
Yeah.
So yeah, so and he was applying for Canada during that time on the Goofy Hour, and he said, you apply. And I said, nope, I'm not gonna go anywhere. And when I talked to in family, my mom says, oh, isn't that the Eskimo country? That's cold. People are living in a ice room. You're gonna die there. So yeah, then he got during that time, Canada was per year probably 100,000 people or something all over the things, taking as an immigrant and permanent residents. So he came in Montreal with family. Unfortunately, my friend Cameroon became sick, either before or just came Canada. She diagnosed as a Parkinson disease. So yeah, then their whole dynamics, their whole hope, their whole dream kind of changed because of Cameroon get so sick. And I was staying in Bangladesh. They got that time family visa was very easy, family immigrant, but the single was not. So I was single. So and then some reason I don't know why, finished that job, take the Care International job. I think Care International was a very renowned during the war, during the First World War. They lot of relief and any kind of disaster, natural disaster. They are very good on those kind of third world country. So I got a job as an assistant engineer, assistant project manager. So their structure was a manager would be non-engineer, non-technical, mostly like MBA or finance or management side, but engineer, they need engineers. So their ranking he report to the manager. However, their authority is higher than manager, kind of. It's funny, but yes. So I got that job. And Care is so good. I whatever I learn in my professional life, I learn from Care. And then I apply those learning gradually in any single path I'm going now. So they give me a lot of training. They found that I'm very good technicality, but I'm not very good to dealing the client and the customer. Our customer is all local government people, like say, if I compare to our structure, government structure in here, the local government, say township or the city council or city mayor kind of things, and they have their own engineer. However, when Care was funding to develop, the Care has a lot of project in Canada, in Bangladesh, disaster management, child education, female and child health, or all those health and hygiene, education, kid education, all those kind of. And one of the project was flood protection. There was a huge amount of flood. And another project was build. Build means just build, but that abbreviation a little bit different. All those project named abbreviation different. So build, they just build all those rural road to connecting with the city center, so that all entrepreneur, small scale entrepreneur, they can bring their product to sale and get the good benefit from there. So that was the main objective of that project. And my project name was Shahor in Bangla, but that abbreviation kind of helping the household family in an urban poor, family oriented people, whatever they require as a family to support. Sometimes need IGA is income generating activities. Sometimes they need some health education. Sometimes needs the pure water, like a drinking water, clean water, and the sanitation. A lot of women don't have the toilet.
Oh my goodness.
So in that case, that was my job was started. So to integrated way, actually that was under the integrated food security program, and then the branches, all those branches happening. So when I had the assistant project manager for the Shahor project, that is I was probably 5 years work for them. I met a lot of European people, a lot of American. Our main donor was USAID. So I have to present my project, input, output, benefit, cost, challenges, all those things to get the fund. That's
Mhm.
what. And when we fund it to the local, and everything has to be ownership and transparent. So the local government will implement the project. We will give fund, we will give all technical support, we will monitoring, and then we clear the project, and so that USAID can fund us. It's kind of complicated process, but was very transparent. And that's why still when we walk through, none of the people can say any word. Like they are the care staff, so let them go.
Yeah.
It's our car. Every time the car is care, that's it. Nobody can touch us.
You're like royalty.
Exactly.
Right.
So yeah, so that during that time, kind of looking for and all those challenges. If I started telling you challenges, is a lot of challenges for a female. Sometimes I had to stay in a night, midnight, to monitor and inspect the casting, the concrete casting. If I don't do that, the quality of work will not be ensured. So those are very, very much challenging job. That's
man.
Yeah.
I just need to pause and like just say, good job getting through all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that is so much. I mean, Melissa has a pretty wild story, and I thought that her story was just, like, holy cow. And then I hear your story and I'm like, oh, just it's mind-boggling to think how differently people live in this world. And that's one thing I love about doing this podcast is it helps to break people out of their little bubbles and show them that your experience, it can be so radically different than somebody else's experience. And you have to approach life with that mindset and not think that everybody has the same experience that you're having, and treat them in a way that honors their experience.
Yeah.
So so I just want to restate it again. You are awesome for overcoming the multitude of things that you've overcome to get where you are today. And that is something that we want to celebrate as we celebrate success on this podcast.
Yes,
Thank
for
you.
sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
So you work a lot with environmentalism and making positive environmental changes. We are very much all about that. We are advocates for making this world a cleaner, better place. So can you talk to us a little bit about that and what everybody can do now to do their part in environmental change?
It's a big topic though.
Yeah,
It
bigger
is.
than anybody is kind of.
It's all over the world, and every
It's all over
single area has its own challenges, and we all have to do our part. What parts are you playing locally right now in order to help your part in the environment?
Actually, if that I'm mostly doing like learning and the environment, when I think in my perception is different. People are thinking different way, but my very, very recently I started speaking out. Before it's just like a care or world food program. That time as I say that project manager has to ensure that whatever intervention we are taking, we are not disturbing with the ecosystem or the natural flow of the water or the natural integrity of the soil or the natural vegetation. Those are the native vegetation. But when we think about nowadays, the things I am doing, sadly, is we even don't talk about that way, honestly. But that time was we put the all, okay, we need a bridge, we need a culvert, we need a road. So which way we are going, the location. Okay, the location, what is the natural or native environment over there? Because its environment is itself is good, it's no problem. The problem happening when we try to build up something for our own convenience. Our own convenience, however, you have to define this way, for the temporary, I don't know that we understand or not. If we just click something in our mind, oh, I need a road, that's it. I need it right now. What the impact, what will be the consequences, what will be the other things, we have no time. Do you have money? Yes, go ahead. Do you have no money? Go for give the project presentation and feasibility study and show them that is bringing the good benefit, financial benefit. Unfortunately, it's make me so sad.
Yeah.
So environment is, I'm just recently, I've always kind of, since that way we have, I forgot the name of my things, but was the first step, actually it's called environmental assessment, impact assessment, EIA. So any project, you have to go through that phase and that take the intervention. Intervention means the civil engineering, any infrastructure. If you take the electrical, if you do the environmental assessment first, through your product, how much negatively impact happen in your society, in your environment. It's that environment itself is changing, climate is changing, no doubt.
Yeah.
We are changing. We are kids is very cheerful things, and then when we get the adult, get the sad, and then get again, and then we end of our life like a 70, we try to cheer up again. So
yeah.
The same thing is environment, and the earth is changing, and it will be changed. How fast and how accelerate depends on us. It's how it's, if it's a naturally change or we and I accelerate this one. So the MIT program, I'm almost done. Just I have to submit my another presentation. It's as part of the course curriculum, I have to give the 2 presentation. I did one with my office, with my coworker, and they just impressed. On my boss first impression was, I didn't know what I was going to expect from this. So it was a fun day. It was very,
that's awesome.
Well taken.
It's so cool that you're doing the
Yeah.
MIT Climate Ambassador Program. Like, that is huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Like, MIT is where smart people dream about going to school.
Yeah.
And you're doing the program.
And I'm really lucky. And the co-founder of they call the Climate Interactive, this division. And then I have the MIT Salon, which is actually the business management. They support them. So they probably started in 1995 or 96, just little early of 2000 maybe, but they could not come out that way massively. I think they are, after the pandemic during 2020, they have a lot of ambassador program offered. I think we are now 500 so far, ambassador are in training program. So through this program through this program has to spread the news, spread the importance of climate and climate change and what we are doing. And if we they don't teach us like a big science or big step we have to need. It's not a rocket science. It's not like a spaceship we have to build. No, what we have to do, what we are doing day to day as an individual, as a family, as a group, as an office co-worker, spread this way and talk about that. Honestly, I was very afraid to talk about the environment, even though my office job is things. When I come to the other friend circle or my family, and they treat me like you are the climate activist, and and do that, and I just squeeze myself. Okay, I'm not gonna talk like that. Don't talk about the politics or religious. The same way I was treated. Nowadays, sometimes I think maybe I'm old enough. I don't care, maybe anything anymore.
You're like, whatever, I'm going to talk about it anyway.
Exactly. So now I started, okay, guys, I'm not asking anything. When I first time started some other term, my coworker, the first day, first talk, oh, you are the tree hugger.
Oh.
Think you're some kind of hippie.
So anyway, and I said, and now I said, hey, don't forget about that. But we have to. What do you do? What do you do every day? How many liter you water are wastage rather than you need it?
Mhm.
So this way, that the whole earth resource, natural resource, has a limitation and it's running out. How we using and what we left for our future generation is up to us.
Mhm.
If we are really claim ourselves as an educated person, you have to open up your eyes. No, we did 1,000 years or 100 years in this way. Our society does this way. This is, I think, the most harmful sentence we can use in our day-to-day job. That no, my grandma did this way, my family did this way, I have to do this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The conditioning.
Yeah. Unfortunately, most people can't think beyond 3-4 generations at the most ahead of them. So their sense of, oh, well, it doesn't matter what I do because 200 years from now, when people are going to be affected by this, or 1,000 years from now, or 10,000 years from now, when people are affected by this, it's not going to matter to me. I won't be here. And that's like the worst, most selfish attitude that we can have.
Yeah.
Because we're destroying, like literally destroying this beautiful planet that we live on. And people just don't care because they know that once they're long and gone, the earth will keep going with or without them, and they can just do whatever they want. And to heck with all the people that come after.
Yep.
So good that people like you are out there doing the good work, trying to educate people. And even if you are accused of being a tree hugger, we appreciate it.
Yeah. No, it's so far like we talking and saying that we should save our water, we have to minimize our wastage, we have to recycle stuff, and we have to stop using plastic. It did not work. So what MIT doing through this program is they developed certain tools, one called En-ROAD, another called C-ROAD. En-ROAD is Energy Rapid Overview Decision Support, and C-ROAD is Climate Rapid Overview Decision Support.
Okay.
And they have another climate model too. So that tool's based on the best available science so far we know, and MIT have a lot access of from international space, all those satellite data to NASA data to European Union, what they are doing, International Energy Agency, what they are doing, everything, even though the monetary fund, I forgot that name though, and World Bank, and that all statistics, how the humanity, UN, actually they closely work with the IPCC data, every 6 months coming out the assessment report. They took those data, everything data, they put together, and then they measure is what's going on and where the impact happening. And they shows one side the energy demand and energy source, and another chart showing that how the carbon emission day by day, especially after industrial world, is going up. Before that, before 1950, was up and down, up and down, up and. But if you draw a trend line, was not sharp up, but after that it's sharp up, especially 1990. It's sharp up, going up, and then showing that end of the century, our temperature will be raised based on that pre-industrial at 3.6 degrees Celsius, which is the 6.5 degree Fahrenheit. If that happens, which impact is going to happen? Lots of species, sensitive species will be died. Our water species, especially water, will be high temperature because water needs more time to heat and cool. So most of the species will be die. And if that die, whole ecosystem is in now trouble.
Yeah,
So
crops and everything.
Exactly. So on that tools, En-ROAD, I'm taking mainly my interest is En-ROAD, and I also sign up for, they have right now 19 languages translated, because they want to every single person, every single language, every single nation, they handle that tool and see themselves and ask themselves that what we are doing and where we can go. So I just signed up for Bangla translation on the same software or tools. It did not have more progress yet, but when I will finish my ambassador program, and I will probably pay more attention on there, so will be good. It's just awareness program.
Let me ask this one question, and this is going to sound kind of dark, but if we as humanity continue on the path that we're on currently with no changes, and we're just like, we don't care, we're just going to keep going at the rate that we're going, how long do we have as people to survive at the rate that we're going? Do you all have like projections if we keep on this path for that?
Yeah, we have that climate change projection they have. So say IPCC report, assessment report 5, they just put all the science. There is a 3 words, so science-based fact, physical fact. They says, if the business as usual going on, then the representative concentration pathway 8.5 watt per meter square agents energy or heat will be in the water. So in that case, the impact what will be, and that's why the SSP coming behind that is saying that SSP is a shared socio-economic pathway. So if that happening in science, is the climate change is the heat coming, radiation coming from sun and consuming our whatever we needed, and then rest of the heat or the energy bounce back to the space. But since the greenhouse gas is creating a big blanket of the earth, those bounce back source of energy cannot go to the space. It's staying here.
It'll come back down.
And that's why it's heating up our earth is so fast, so quickly. And that is mainly happening all those industry. They are using the fossil fuel. This is the main source or main reason is happening. And like I cannot, if I'm talking up top of my head, probably will be wrong number. However, I can say like a 70, more than 75%, those carbon dioxide greenhouse gas emission coming from fossil fuel, either coal or oil or natural gas from there. So that's so when they develop the SSP, shared socioeconomic pathway, they try to draw, if we going this way, so how much challenges we have to face for the adoption to whatever earth is heating up, we have to adapt to it that way. And another challenge is how much challenge we need to mitigate those people are doing whatever they're doing if done. So they put in the 5 SSPs pathway and found that if we stay our path the way, that will be very big challenge for adaptation, very big challenge for mitigation. So now scientists are saying which path you want to take. Mainly this is talking to the politician and the decision maker, that which way you want to go. It's choice here. Before we did not have that kind of tool to show them. Now you can see by yourself, observe what are we doing, where we're going, what we can do. Here is an option, choice is yours. So the choice is when we talking about every time, oh, government could not subsidize us, government could not give us the electric vehicle, government cannot, all those excuses we put our path. Now we climate ambassadors saying, no, start with yourself, what you can do. Ask yourself, okay, government, if the $1 million, I can do these things, I can do that things. And in my personal opinion, every time any kind of scientific discovery happen or invention happen, everything happened with the good intention in the beginning. However, we put people, our mind with the more and the greediness, we destroy, we move away from the good vision, mission, and all those things, and we move away, we forgot about that.
Yep.
And that's then we create another trouble, and our next generation coming to have their life is more complicated because our ancestors create those trouble and we have to deal with them. And exactly the science and exactly the climate change is going on this way. Whatever did in 1950s for industrial world, now we are suffering. If you see any, like, not very much, 1950s, a lot of my parents still can remember those days. They can tell how many people have the respiratory system trouble and how many kids are born with the respiratory problem.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea why is happening? But when we talk about as a climate activist, we are the bad guy. We are the tree hugger.
Yeah. It makes sense. I mean, anything that has consequences, they don't want to look at that. That's consequences for another day. It's, it's not their problem. So it's always, we always need people like you to speak up and to make those differences, because in 5 years, the world can be radically different than it is now. In 20 years, it could be radically different than it is now, in a good way or a bad way. So we need a lot more good people to change everyone's viewpoint on where we need to see the future in 20, 40, 50 years. Longer, really, but then those people that are just finance driven and just they're just there for the money, for the paycheck, because at the end of the day, what are you going to do at your 100 years are over? That money doesn't matter anymore. It's going to go be recycled back into the world. So what's not going to be recycled back into the world is whatever you made on the earth, whatever decisions you made on the earth, that is going to continue on for another generation, another generation, and another generation.
Yeah. It's the legacy that people are leaving through, like you said, their greed and their just inability to change their mindsets is going to be a devastating legacy for our future. But the legacy that you're leaving is super cool, because you're literally in the trenches.
You're a tree hugger. You're going to make those changes.
You're trying to change it all and to tell people, hey, we got to do things different and come up with ideas of how you could save this. So your legacy is something that hopefully more people will catch on to
and will jump on board. And will want to leave that legacy for themselves. As well.
Well, we have talked about a lot of stuff. We didn't even have to ask a lot of our questions because your story just kind of covered so much, and it was so good. So right now I want to ask you my favorite question of the podcast. What is a specific success that you had recently, big or small, but something that's happened in your life recently that you would consider a success that you would like to stop, pause, and celebrate right here, right now with us on the podcast?
I have a lot. I feel like every day is my success day.
I bet the MIT program that is a huge success recently.
Goodness.
Let's take that off the table for a second, because that's just in its own class of celebrations.
Yes, it's actually a great success, and I think I got the right forum to like a similar mindset people and the similar way we are thinking and we are doing. Because when I was working for World Food Program, UN program, that was actually their main vision is protect the environment and do whatever you need to help poor people to do that. So in that case, is everything kind of go through is our guideline and our legislation and all those things. And people very, very rare time they can touch their heart. if I feel like if I don't, anything does not touch my heart, and I cannot do that. I cannot pretend this way. So MIT, this program is actually, it's very funny thing that I was watching, I think 2000, when the pandemic is working from home. And in my background, I was watching one webinar, and that is Andrew Jones, who is the co-founder of Climate Interactive and Inroad and C-Road, all those things. And his boss and his another partner is, I have to mention his name, which is, I kind of very much influenced by their motivation, by their theme there. When Andrew Jones, I so excited when he talks, he is so passionate, and he is so kind of, what you guys need to do, and you want to do that every single, he step by step, he kind of feel the way, I think the art feel the temperature, kind of, I compare this way. So he kind of my one of my mentor and hero, and whenever I have question, I can connect with him. And I think this is the very, so I was going to back the webinar, I was watching him, and his tone and passionate kind of attract me. Whatever I was doing background, I was started listening him. And the end of the webinar, he said that if you want, there is a series of webinar is coming. So I sign up without any hesitation. And any time that webinar time period, most of the time they have the lunch hour. So I do on the working through lunch, and I close my door in my office room and I listen them. And end of the day, most of the day I was tired because I did not get any break. So, and then they ask that if anybody wants to sign up for ambassador program, 8 weeks program, they will give us some homework. They have create a working team, and they can discuss on that forum. And they every week they have hour and 2 presentation that is done by Andrew Jones or Starman or another. I'm really grateful. I have to mention that in a podcast that I'm really get a very good group in touch as a mentor, as a teacher, as a, for the environment itself is a so complicated things. Even though I understand, I could not explain that way, but they make those things so easy for me. And I feel this is my great success to keep in their touch. Yasmin Jahar, Ellie Johnson, and Clara, I forgot her last name, is difficult to pronounce. These are my mentor. They are the organizing this workshop. There is a 500 trainee is there. But it's a very successful. I'm very close to complete that program, and I'm gonna start it speaking. And whenever I get forum, even though 1 person or 2 person, anybody interested. And I was really surprised when I gave the first presentation in my office. I knew my audience, but when I started talking with them, I could not stop, and I was so surprised myself. I said, "Aha! That's the aha moment I was looking for."
We love that.
That's so cool. Well, congratulations. That's huge. We celebrate that with you and congratulate you. Because that's massive.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so now, can you share with our listeners where they can reach out to you if they want to learn more about the environment, or they want to do their part and they want to know a little bit more?
Yeah. So they can go, like, just type on a website, just Enroad, capital A-E, small n, dash, capital R, capital O, capital A, capital D, capital S. It's everything come out on this way for that program. And this is, they are MIT and Climate Interactive team are very helpful, very appreciative. If anybody show their interest, they're all information on that web page. They can join any moment, anytime. It doesn't matter. Right now they have Mastering Enroad, which is a self-paced training program, the same training program we did. They can go and sign up and do their things, and any question. And most importantly, that tools is so interesting and so triggering. it's sucked in your kind of, I forgot sometimes how many hours I'm spending with that kid. So many answers I had before. What happened if our population increase? What happened our GDP increase? What happened the afforestation? What happened the deforestation? Every single tools over there, and we can play. Well, what if all building and industry will be 100% energy efficient? What if the 100% electric vehicle on the road? How many gas station require? How many battery wastage things? Everything, every single technicality answer is there. So it's wonderful tool. It's wonderful. I'm very, very grateful.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with our listeners too. You guys go definitely check that out and learn more about the environment, learn more about what you can do as a human in order to keep this earth here a lot longer.
Yeah. And to help future generations to have an easier path, not a more difficult one because of our selfishness.
Yes, exactly.
Well, Tahera, this has been absolutely wonderful.
So much fun.
So much fun. Last, before we leave you, is there any advice that you would like to give to our listeners before you jump off of here?
I don't know. It's I think advice, I feel like a very big job to do that, but I think what I believe I can tell that one, and it's up to audience. They can think about their own way, but always when we do something, any action, ask yourself. And I believe that if I ask properly myself, never get a misguided answer. However, when I see compared to, oh, my friend is such and such, oh, my that cousin is such and such, when I go to compare with others, not value myself or looking at inside myself, all other decision and all other things is kind of did not, it's not good. So so my advice would be that whatever your heart saying, or your heart saying means your ability. So for example, if I say, could I go for athlete, like being a player of Rough Rider? No, I can. It's not for me. So what for me, I can do that things too passionately and honestly, and feel like that can bring in a broader, rather than the today's benefit, broader benefit. How can those things bring a broader benefit? And especially if I am saying it's going to my niece and nephew and my family member, I'm really grateful. I'm really thankful that from their contribution, they pushed me, they lifted me that far. And I hold up my heart and love for them. But I want them to think that way too, rather than that's oh, my friend is have such and such, my friend has a smart watch, I don't have, so they are sad. I never been that way though. I never feel sad when I did not have that kind of materialistic things. Now in electronics world, kids are just iPhone and wristwatch and all those, they feel so sad. They just it's like a detracking from their own things, what they need to do. They can go fun, play their time, they enjoy. And and since we are Bengali family, every parents is dedicated, devoted their life, and they're passionate to grown up their kids. So this message for my younger generation, my niece and nephew, to acknowledge your parents' hard work, hard time for you, and grown up yourself, whatever. Since my dad did not feel like I was a good careerist, because I did not became a doctor, I was an engineer. So what the value of a female engineer in Bengali society? No, he did not know then where we can end up. And I claim myself now as a successful woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is don't keep up with other people.
Yeah.
Define
Don't keep up with the
success
Joneses.
for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Reimagine what that looks like,
Mm-hmm.
your success. So reimagine success
Uh-huh.
and
know your worth.
know your worth. Yeah.
Mhm. We love that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
You
I think
guys are
that
articulating nicely.
I think that goes along perfectly with the theme of this podcast, actually.
That's great. We love it. You have been amazing. Thank you
Yes.
so much for your time and for being on and for sharing your story and just really being open and vulnerable and honest about what your struggles have been and to just let everyone know that whatever they're going through, they can get through it too.
Mm.
You are the prime example of going through something hard and coming to the other side and still going and still learning and still growing. And we love that. And just keep doing it. And you are a confident, worthy, beautiful woman. And we love you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks so
very
much
much.
for being on the podcast. And we will absolutely talk to you very, very soon.
Very soon.
Thank you for having
Thank
me in your podcast.
Of
All right.
course. Thank you so much.
Bye.
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 Wow. What a story.
Right? Like, I know I said it a bunch of times during the podcast, but just thinking about how differently she grew up
Yeah.
versus us. I mean, her dad was missing from
For
war
6
for
months.
6 months
I know. In a hospital.
in a hospital. They had no idea.
I know.
Could you imagine? I go missing,
Right,
and you
for
don't know
6
where I
months.
am for 6 months.
It's crazy.
Holy cow.
Just to think about just that alone, not her entire story.
Yeah,
She-
having physical disability and
Right.
just moving to a new world, like
Yeah.
not just a new country, but a new world, like
Yeah.
changing everything. It's mind-blowing, it's inspirational,
Mhm.
it's the American dream, even though she moved to Canada, coming
Yeah.
from somewhere where you have next to nothing and you're
When you
forced
have
to work
little.
in these terrible conditions, and then you come here and you make a
Mhm.
way for yourself and you end up becoming successful, and you are working for the United Nations and going to MIT and just
Right.
brilliant. Like it's crazy.
But one thing I did take away from, even though she had next to nothing growing up, her family was very tight and they were a very tight knit family and did a lot for each other. That's one thing I would take away from into our society, is to make sure that we are always close as a family. Make sure that you are always, supporting each other and loving each other, and do it effortlessly, with no expectations back. Just love each other for each other and love each other for whoever that person is going to be.
Yeah, and family doesn't have to be blood. In
Right.
fact, some of the best family are people that you pick up along the way,
Yeah.
because they're the ones that,
That get
choose
you.
to be your family. Yeah, they get you, that understand you, that
Yeah.
that welcome you,
You get to
as
choose
you are.
them. Family, you don't necessarily you don't choose, but you choose to love them and you have a bond and a relationship with them. Whereas friends, you actually get to choose and you
Mhm.
get to say, hey, I want you to be close to me, or you get to be close. I get to be close to you.
And as our listeners, you're our family. Like, whether we know you personally or not, you're part of our extended family. And we just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in every week. Thank you for downloading this and using up space on your phone or wherever you listen to it, to listen to us talk every week with these amazing guests. And thank you for the support. Thank you for telling your friends about it. The word of mouth that you guys use to spread this podcast. You don't know how much it means to us and how much it touches our hearts.
And sharing your success stories with us. We love that. We absolutely love it. And if you have a success story, please share at reimaginesuccesspod@gmail.com or reimaginesuccesspod at any social media platform. We love to hear your success stories.
Yeah. Or you could jump on our website, reimaginesuccesspod.com. And there's a comment section there where you can contact us and get in touch with us
We
or
have a
chat.
chat.
Yeah.
We have all kinds of
So
stuff. Just reach out and let us know.
Let us know your unbelievable successes, your small successes, your massive successes. We don't care. We just want to know what good things are going on, because the more good that we put out into the world and the more things we celebrate, the better this world becomes. And we just keep putting that good, positive energy out there, and you keep putting that good, positive energy out there, then it's just going to come back with more positive energy.
Yeah. And with that, this is a Creative Global Podcasting production. Did you get motivated? Do you feel inspired?
Don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses anymore, and don't forget to celebrate your successes every single day. Thank you for taking this journey with us.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Reimagine Success Pod. Email us at reimaginesuccesspod@gmail.com and let us know what your successes are. Head over to patreon.com/creativeglobal for bonus and behind-the-scenes content.
New episodes every Thursday at reimaginesuccesspod.com or your favorite podcast streaming platform.
So let's change our mindsets and reimagine success.